Today is Friday, February 20th. I'm Paul Caroli, and here's what Denver's talking about. Welcome to CityCast Denver, the show about the city whose mayor has heard your concerns. He is replacing the highly controversial flock surveillance contract with puppies. That's right, puppies for all.
I wish.
Do you?
But I don't
Great.
know. I don't know in
The government never gives you what you really want. Puppies.
I would take anything over surveillance. So if it's puppies, sure. Although puppies are a lot of work.
I'm going to take credit for this, truthfully.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Oh,
I called him out, if you remember. I think he heard my words, and he was shaking in his boots.
He was like, not Adrian. If I lose Adrian, what do I have?
If I piss Adrian off, it's over.
Don't. It's over, and he knows that. So you're welcome, Denver.
Taking credit for the win. Wow, great. Good for you. Well, we'll introduce him in a second. You all should know it's Friday. We're looking back at a big week of news, including Colorado's biggest company moving to Florida, and a beloved deli seized for not paying taxes. And more news of the week. We're coming to you on video, as usual, on Fridays, taping at the beautiful Dude IDK Studios here in 5 Points. Bree is with me, as usual. Hey, Bree.
Hi.
Bree, I wanted to ask you about this other piece of news before we even get to the story, just because I just saw it this morning. Apparently, the mayor has also changed his mind on Alameda Avenue.
What?
You know the whole safety plan, the pilot they were going to do of the new Anschutz plan?
So you're where we last left it, they were going to do the Anschutz plan, which was a modification of the plan that all the neighbors had said, this is a good plan, except for Anschutz.
Well,
and some other people that
many
decided.
of the neighbors.
Yeah.
It seems like a vast majority of people prefer the old plan. Yeah.
So they were, and at this point, we're going to do the
Anschutz plan.
And he's now...
Try it, you might like it. He's now the pilot is the old plan.
Really?
Yeah. 6 months, starting this summer into early 2027. And then they're going to decide what they're going to make permanent.
Okay.
That's the latest.
Well,
isn't that...
I mean, I don't know. I got to shout out the people in the community, that group that was like...
I got to shout out Adrian. I think Adrian can claim this one as well.
This one I can't claim. However, I did help share some of the media that they were posting about their initial complaints about it and how they felt that this was the rich buying their way. So congratulations to them for getting what
some of these
want.
people had giant vinyl signs made hanging on this. Those are expensive, hanging on the side of their house saying WTF, Mayor Johnston, we can't have safe streets or what? So, you know what? I'm excited. I'm happy to see that. I drive that intersection several times a week to go to my mother's house, and I'm excited.
I think we should do it. We should all drive when the pilot starts. We should drive it and review it.
Okay.
And see how we feel about it. And maybe walk up and down it too. Anyway, we got other stuff to talk about. This is just we had to hit this. I mean, the mayor changed his mind on two big things. Big week.
I think he's listening maybe to the people. Yeah.
Yeah. Pressure works.
Specifically, Adrian Felix, who is our guest today.
Adrian Felix works.
Welcome back to the show. He's a prolific poster, the 2025 CityCast Denver Hater of the Year.
Woohoo.
Adrian, welcome
You had the best
back.
speech.
Thank you. Like I said, you guys do make me feel seen, so I appreciate it.
You were like, I'm gay, I'm Latino, I'm a hater. Bye.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is all we could have asked for in someone coming up to accept an award. So thank you.
It was wonderful.
It was.
It was
Brought
great.
down the house.
We got to post the video of that speech. It was really good.
So good.
Made me emotional. There's a little bit of business to discuss. Your City Could Be Better is the name of the new podcast from CityCast. Have you seen this, Adrian?
No, I haven't.
We just dropped this first one in the feed last week.
Oh, wow.
Got a lot of nice comments for a conversation our CEO, David Plotz, had with Sean McPherson from CityCast Twin Cities.
The host of CityCast Twin Cities.
Talking about
what's going on.
Some stuff's been going on there lately, and they were talking about that. But that's the whole idea of this new show is our CEO, our boss, is going to be doing every week a conversation with one of the hosts about, a hot topic. This week, is data centers, because Madison just
Yes.
implemented a 1-year moratorium on data centers. So they've kind of gone all the way to one end of the spectrum on this hot topic.
I'm excited to hear this conversation with Bianca from the host from Madison, because it's something we're talking about too in Colorado.
Yeah.
So I don't know a community that's not really talking about it. So I'll be curious what that looks like.
It'll be, I hope that it helps inform our discussion of it here.
Yeah.
And so stay tuned for that on the feed on Sunday. Also, I just want to briefly alert listeners to some changes. I'm going to say this in the least ominous way possible, because I know this is going to sound, I'm going to be very mysterious about this, but I want people to know, it's okay. The stuff in the feed's going to look a little different. We're going to do some things different. We're always trying to be better. We listen to feedback. We look at the data. That's what this is all about. We are making some changes to the show and the rest of the stuff we do. And we are going to be running a couple of reruns next week. 3
While we learn
Olivia
how to
gets
do
her
the new
way.
thing. And I'm with Olivia on that.
Yeah, so we'll see.
But
that was very ominous.
I know. It was like, could we be a little clearer? We're not going. No one is changing on the show.
It's probably going to be not noticeable. But
I know.
It's going to be a really big thing for us.
Some of these changes have come out of things that we developed on this show. So I'm just saying.
Your super fans will notice, I believe.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
So.
My mother will call me.
Yeah.
And ask me
what
what's
I
going
would
on.
request from them is compliments.
Compliments only.
just simply that's all
just
I ask
have a day
for.
where you just compliment us. I would love that. What if a day on the internet, it was the opposite of like the purge, and it was like, what if we just said nice things to each other? Actually, nobody would log on.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's
not as
not
fun.
what
I
we're
go
here
on the
for.
internet to complain. I'm like,
He's the hater of the year.
Hater of the
no
year.
Way.
Can you imagine?
Bree, get out of here.
I know. I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah. All right,
but it comes from a place of love, truthfully.
Haters gotta hate.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a hater myself, so I get it. I get it.
Okay, our top story, really big story, and very interesting story. We've been following this for 5 years, ever since this giant company, this AI, I call it a defense contractor, because that's the business they really want to be in most, Palantir.
I want to say, Paul, I do want to give you credit. You were talking about Palantir before. I think most folks, didn't know a thing about it until you brought it to the team and was like, I think this is going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a giant, huge deal. The people who run it are super well connected. I mean, really, the story changed when Trump was elected, because Peter Thiel and Alex Karp, they're buddy with all those Trump people and got the big contracts. And that's why this company is now worth a market value of $312.2 billion, one of the biggest companies in the world.
Because it was the highest valued company in Colorado up until this week.
Until Tuesday, when they announced on X, simply, we have moved our headquarters to Miami.
Can I just say what cracked me up about this is like 10 years ago, or I just can't imagine a company utilizing Twitter to make an announcement, because we got like so much shit for using Twitter as people.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe you would take anything on there seriously.
Yeah.
And then I watched media outlets that maybe I worked for too evolve and be like, we got to be on Twitter. And then it was like, this is actually where large companies make announcements that they don't make anywhere else.
Even the government.
Yeah,
even the government does that. It's like, we got to post this on Twitter. We got to post this on X.
I just never would have thought that would have been the day, but this is how we learned.
It's a weird world.
It is a weird
and
world.
everyone does it kind of differently too. Like, I'm not going to post on Twitter if I got a major announcement.
No. No.
I'm going to say it ominously on the podcast.
Yeah, and you have to
a few days
actively
before.
seek it out and listen.
Yeah. Anyway, so the company, we have moved our headquarters to Miami. Everyone was surprised. I was very surprised. Anti-Palantir protesters who have been outside the headquarters downtown, and then a couple times, I think I only have heard it, I was there for two protests in Cherry Creek where they were planning to move their headquarters. We'll talk about that. But Bree, what do you think this means for Denver?
I mean, it's interesting because I want to believe that it was a confluence of factors. Like, I think the protests were effective. I don't want to diminish that. I think that is not good press. It doesn't look good when people are protesting you on a regular basis. But also, they made, I feel like there was some interesting commentary about Denver or Colorado at least being hospitable to businesses. And I never know how that, I feel weird about that stuff. But I don't know. It was just, I feel like I was so surprised as anyone else, because as far as we knew, they were getting that whole floor or whatever in Cherry Creek ready to move on into.
Business Den reported in September.
Yes.
I did a lot. There was some really good reporting, and I did my own sleuthing. But Business Den reported in September that they were paying to remodel this space that they had signed a lease on in Cherry Creek.
But if you're worth how many billions of dollars, you could probably walk away from that lease, and it's
well, sure, but
whatever
still,
to you.
But what this tells us, if we're going to do the Kremlinology on this secretive company, we know that they made the decision after September, which is particularly interesting because one of the reasons the company has cited in this like investor report that they filed earlier this week for leaving, I mean, and there's probably a million reasons, is the new AI law that Colorado passed last year and goes into effect now in June.
Yes.
So back in September when they were doing the remodel, that was after the special session the state legislature had where they were debating and failed to come to an agreement on possibly pulling back on that law, and they ended up just shifting the implementation date to this June.
Okay, so that's what happened with the law, was that it wasn't changed. It was just pushed till
it's
later
still set
date.
to go into effect in June. And according to Palantir in this report, they said that like this was definitely a factor. This was one of the two things they cited for why they wanted to do it. Compliance with such obligations under the bill, I'm quoting from this report, may be difficult, onerous, and costly and could adversely affect our business, reputation, financial condition, results of operations, and growth prospects.
Poor things. And it wasn't the second reason climate change, the second factor?
Yes.
Wait, what?
Hilariously,
What?
the company that is moving to Miami says our Colorado headquarters has experienced climate-related events and may continue to be at increasing frequency in the future, including drought, water scarcity, heat waves, and wildfires, resulting in air quality impacts and power shutoffs.
And what
So
part?
it's Excel's fault?
Yeah.
It's
Also,
the wildfire? Like what?
Your company contributes to those issues, at least as far as we know, in
Of
terms of things
course.
like drought, right? I mean, that's a...
I mean, as much as anyone does. Are you talking about the data centers? And
the data centers,
climate
I guess,
impact?
is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If this is an AI-powered company, that's the data center. That's bizarre.
When I read that, I thought about the video that they put out announcing the move to Denver, which featured CEO Alex Karp in full Lycra riding a road bike in the mountains. And I was like, I wonder if he just doesn't think that this is like a good place to ride his bike. If he
didn't he just buy
it.
a monastery outside of Snowmass?
Yeah, that's the other thing is like, so you're moving your headquarters, but he also just bought a giant property. He's going to live here.
He's got a PJ. Just come back and forth. I mean,
If that's for these guys, what does it mean to have a headquarters here? How,
does it?
They're still going to have the office. They're just literally calling the other office in Miami the headquarters now.
Right.
Yeah.
Because from my understanding, it's like most of the employees work remotely anyway.
I think some. And also, we don't really know that.
Yeah.
We don't know exactly how many employees. The governor speculated about 500. And we don't know how many, but we can infer based on how much office space.
Sure.
That's what the Denver Post did. They were like, there's probably like maybe 150 employees. The governor said 500. My reporting, I talked to a source this week, said about 200.
Which is not a huge employer. I mean, it's a moderate-sized employer. I don't know.
Which was very interesting, especially if you saw some of like the backlash from Twitter, because of course, it's got to be someone's fault, and everyone was blaming the Democrats. They're like, do you know how many jobs we just lost? I'm like, I guess not many.
Not a lot.
Not many.
Also, I just have to say, Alex Karp is really, the CEO is trying really hard to be as unlikable as like Elon Musk. He's one of the most unlikable people. And I mean, Elon Musk takes the cake. I think if we learned anything from the Epstein files, even those guys didn't want to hang out with Elon Musk. But Alex Karp is really pushing for like I'm the next most awful person to be around. He just feels, I don't know, interviews with him, I'm like,
his interviews are so strange.
They are so strange.
Like, talk about going on tangents. It's like, what are you talking about?
He's got a bit of a galaxy brain syndrome going on. He likes to like draw weird connections.
It's called being too rich.
I know. I was like,
a little disconnected.
Galaxy brain always applies to like one type of person, and like if women are like that, they're just nuts.
Right. I do feel that way. I feel like when people see him speak, that there's like an audience of men who are just like, oh my gosh.
The closest women got to it is Elizabeth Holmes was like the closest sort of galaxy
and poor
brain.
thing, right?
There was a great episode of The Daily a few weeks ago about Palantir, and they were talking about how Alex Karp fits the fits the archetype of the CEO now in the 2020s for what investors are looking for in a leader of a tech company. And I'm going to quote the phrase that the reporter used.
Please do.
This has stuck with me, but he said that what investors are looking for is somebody with a little bit of riz and a little bit of tiz. The riz and the tiz.
What is tiz? I know
autism.
riz.
Autism.
Again,
isn't that hilarious?
How do we apply autism? I mean, this is just so coded as like certain types of people.
I mean, Alex
that is
Karp
seen
is a
as
certain type of person.
And it's a sign of higher intelligence, and depending on what kind of body you're in, it's just maybe seen as otherwise.
But I also feel like
that's crazy.
I also feel like though that it's like such a distraction from like the abuses and like
the exploitation of
and like what it is they do as a business in terms of like, you know, war contracting and how their technology is used to like kill civilians and surveil. It's like I feel that truthfully that all of that is a distraction from how terrible this company is, and I will say good riddance.
I couldn't disagree more, Adrian. I think it is literally the point. I think that is the brand of the company. This is what they talk about themselves. Alex Karp on a shareholder call last week says, Palantir is here to disrupt ... on occasion kill people.
I was going to say, I just watched an interview with him discussing the kill chain.
As we talked about in the beginning when they moved here, what people needed to know, what I've always thought about this company, the brand is evil. That's how they want to be known.
Yeah.
They want people to think of them as the biggest, baddest killing machine out there.
God.
That's how they got these big contracts with the Trump administration.
What we consider the smartest people.
Right. And so, you know, it's always like, it just takes my breath away to see so many people like put this on a pedestal when it's just, it's disruptive. It's not good.
There's a lot of sad, lonely people out there.
Yes, there is, especially in this country. But
are you seeing Denverites putting them on a pedestal? I'm almost all of it seeing the opposite.
So, but I think that's exactly the point. Like the way that Denver people handled this situation is exactly why they had to leave. Like, we don't tolerate that kind of behavior. We don't like that kind of brand. It's not representative as a culture.
Yeah.
I agree with that completely. It was never a good fit. I think they had a sense of what Denver and Colorado was, and they probably only knew it through like Jared Polis.
That's what I was thinking.
Exactly it. It's like, oh, he's crappy like us.
Or he's business minded, or however nicely you want to say it. But I agree. I think looking at Jared Polis and thinking that's what Colorado is, and like, we kind of showed you it's not.
No, it's not.
And with this AI law, I really do think the AI law is, this is a great example of how the AI law is going to shape the state and how it's going to affect business. Like, I know this is not going to be popular with these protesters who are celebrating, but it's worth knowing that this is what people like Seth Levine, co-founder of Foundry venture capital firm, an extraordinarily influential venture capital firm out of Boulder. He said that after Colorado passed its AI bill, he heard from several investors saying they wouldn't invest in any Colorado companies that Foundry brought to them because it doesn't seem like a good business climate for this type of company to grow. And this is the thing that's hot in tech right now. And those are opportunities we're losing. Those are jobs that we're losing.
I don't know. At what cost? I mean, what is the other side of the cost, I guess? Is being associated with a company that kills people. I mean, that's complicated. There's a lot of companies that kill people, but like when we're talking about Palantir, like there's such a lack of humanity and community in these conversations about these companies. And I understand community doesn't make you money. Actually, that's why it's really annoying.
Yeah.
But like, I still think there's other ways that we will be productive as a state.
Well, that's the thing. Palantir is a company that has a product that uses AI. There are other companies that have products that use AI for very different things.
Of course.
Magic School, Rising Star here in Denver, education.
Yeah.
They offer products that help teachers be more efficient.
Huh.
That's
I don't know a
thing.
single teacher that has ever talked about that, but I'd have to do more.
Well, as someone who's going to school right now, my first week of class, nearly every teacher had an AI presentation about how students use AI. And it's not necessarily that they don't want students using, they just want them to be forthcoming about using it, which is something I never experienced. I'm a 35-year-old man. You know what I mean? I went through academia without that. It's a thing now.
That's interesting. I just think about there was a press release that went out recently to a bunch of folks that I know, and we all were like, "Wow, this was written by AI," and we can all see it, and we are thinking less of that person that used AI to do that. But that's like a very simplistic view.
Did it effectively do the purpose of the press release? Did it let you know about the thing?
It did, but it also let us know something about the person behind it, and a lot of us didn't want to talk about it after that. It had the opposite effect.
Yeah, well,
but that's a small
the cultural
usage.
issue that we're navigating together. I mean, if AI is doing the job, if it's executing the thing and it's effectively providing a service, it's probably doing that in a million ways we're not even noticing right now, and we're not even having the opportunity to judge.
Well, I guess where I will disagree is that, like, as we went through the module of like what AI does, then the disadvantages and the negatives of what it can output if you're not paying attention is super not worth it, right? In terms of like it creating scenarios, it's like it's love of bias to just give you what you want to hear and not necessarily the truth. Yeah. So it's one of those things. Like I understand that for some people they may find it effective, but I do think that the disadvantages outweigh.
I mean, that's what the whole law was about in the first place, was discrimination hazards. Like this AI, like so many other technology tools before it, have this discrimination problem. And
what they're trained on.
The interesting thing here, and we'll wrap up, is that to me, the AI law gives regulatory enforcement powers to the Attorney General. And if we're looking at the timeline of how Palantir made this decision and what they're citing, I'm thinking, was there a conversation that led to this abrupt change with the Attorney General's office, which would be Phil Weiser, the possible future governor?
Yeah, these two races we're actually looking at right now.
Yeah,
the AG and the governor's office.
If I'm Palantir and I'm thinking, does it not going to work? Like, are we going to have an investigation? Are we going to have lawsuits over this contract that we have with ICE?
If it's Weiser,
looking at all the discrimination issues that ICE is having, and how much Phil Weiser wants to look for any opportunity to sue the Trump administration or anyone associated with it. Like, I put an email to them. I haven't heard back. Weiser's office.
Very different environments of Polis versus Weiser governor.
He's the governor.
Well, the last thing I remember happening was, I want to say Representative Jason Crow and John Hickenlooper, our senator, made donations to immigrant coalitions because they received donations from Palantir executives.
Jason Crow received the fourth largest sum of Palantir-linked donations among all Democratic members of Congress at $59,700.
So yeah, maybe Hick and Crow clearly changed their mind, or they felt the pressure.
Right. And so it was them. It was like, if we don't have Democrats who will support us or on our side, what exactly do we have in a state run by Democrats?
That's the whole thing right there. That's where we're going to end it. There's a million more pieces of this. Saw some lively conversation about tax policy on the CityCast Denver subreddit this week. I know that's a whole piece of this too, is the tax differences in Florida and Colorado. We're not going to get into it now, but I want to know what you think. Post your takes there on that subreddit, or let us know in a text or in a voicemail. Leave us your name and neighborhood. We want to hear what you think about Palantir leaving town. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? What do you think? 720-500-5418. Okay, go to a break. Come back, talk about roast beef. All right, we're back. Our hot topic this week is one of the most divisive restaurant chains in the city, Leven Deli, in the middle of a major expansion this year with a big new, quote, showpiece restaurant opening downtown. But as any baker knows, sometimes the rise comes before the fall. Westward reports this week that Leven Supply, their Wash Park offshoot, has been seized by the state due to non-payment of taxes, $138,000.
Oof.
Bree was surprised by this news as me?
Literally last week, half of my win was I love Leven Supply. I went last week. It was great. I had great service, although service is in quotations because you do serve yourself most of it. But everyone I interacted with there was very nice. So it was packed also Wednesday.
I've never seen it not packed.
Yeah, it was a Wednesday night. It was packed. We'll get into the pricing and stuff, but I was surprised because I have enjoyed, and other people clearly enjoy Leven as well. That doesn't say anything about their tax situation.
So I had never heard of the restaurant, never attended until this morning.
Okay.
And
we asked you to go. We sent you on assignment.
Yes, you did.
Give us the report.
I went to go do some research. There was a woman in front of me, and she goes, "There's usually a long line. Where's the line?"
Oh no! Which location did you go to? Golden Triangle or down?
The one near the Capitol.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the art museum.
Yes. Okay. And she's like, there's no line. That's really strange. I came here all the time. And I was like, oh, it's my first time here. She's like, what did you order? I ordered the classic breakfast with a matcha latte. And then I left with a snickerdoodle, which, by the way, was the worst snickerdoodle I've ever had.
Wow.
Oh.
And like. Dry? Why? What
there is a texture and a taste that comes with a snickerdoodle, and this snickerdoodle didn't have any of those things.
I have to say, I've never had a commercial Snickers, anything made in a commercial kitchen that resembles an actual snickerdoodle that I've had made by my best friend's mom, but moms. Yeah.
So it was all right. I think I walked out paying like $27, which I don't know. I felt like was pretty normal in terms of like pricing. It was all right.
You getting pastrami on that plate for breakfast?
No, I got bacon.
That's their specialty.
Couple of eggs, rye toast.
Yes,
$27.
They burnt my toast, which was like. I'm telling you, I was like, this is an assignment that they knew.
You don't know what you just did.
No,
you don't know.
Yelp right after this. Yeah, I have pictures. I have video. It's going down.
How many stars? What? Speaking of Yelp,
I'm a breakfast guy. It's I could eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I love breakfast. I will give it a 3 out of 5.
Okay, respectable.
Okay.
Did you have any feelings when the bill arrived? When you saw the receipt break down?
So I paid up front. So I was actually pleasantly surprised by the amount of food I got. It was all right. Like I said, for me, it was like very moderately priced for Denver. So I wasn't quite sure. Like maybe it's like maybe the sandwiches are more expensive.
I think that's been the big complaint I've seen. I have to say when I go to Leven Deli, it's like paying your kid's college tuition or a parent at Disneyland. You just don't look. You're like, I don't know. I'll just pay whatever it is because it's going to be insane. And like, but I looked back at my credit card statement from my Leven supply visit, and it was $32, and that was for a whole pizza and 2 Mexican Cokes, and that didn't seem that unreasonable to me. Like,
how many? Is it how many people are eating that pizza?
Well, it was
two meals.
It was me and Montgomery, and then Greg ate 3/4 of the pizza when we brought it home, basically.
Hell yeah, Greg.
So he eats a lot for being so tiny. But I think the sandwich, though, is the key part here.
See,
that's what I see. And I haven't had one of their sandwiches in a long time, but I know that's the common complaint is Leven Deli's sandwiches are like,
when I reviewed the Reddit, it seemed like a lot of the comments were about the sandwiches.
Like you need to Klarna.
Yeah. Here's
Klarna your sandwich from Leven.
Every comment on the Denver food subreddit is a $20 sandwich and a 10% fee on top of it. But it was pretty good, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll keep going. I love it.
And the atmosphere is nice. It's a good, nice looking restaurant.
I love the ambiance of it. Yes,
they've nailed that.
Yes.
So
it's the kind of thing where if you can provide the value, like the restaurant architect Kevin Wynn said a couple of weeks ago, like he's in that value add business for these restaurants that are struggling with they would say the minimum wage laws, labor costs. Mm-hmm. Like if you can give that ambiance, if you can deliver that premium product that people can't get anywhere else, like they will pay. I think that's what Leven Deli tells us.
Yeah.
Now, will you pay your taxes? Is I think the other question. Like, what the hell happened with this restaurant?
Confused
what did they do?
Because their other location is still open, and that was sort of the question. Was like, aren't they under the same? Aren't they managed?
Yeah.
Someone, I think maybe Denver Post, someone pointed out if you go to their careers page for all of their catering, their Golden Triangle location and their Wash Park, it's all the same company you apply. Like, why was that applied to one of their businesses?
No idea.
And what was the total again?
$138,000. They have not paid since last March. Now the owner,
I was like, say what the owner said.
The owner, Anthony Ligizos, says, who we tried to book on the show a couple weeks ago. Maybe we'll try again. He said, we're dealing with an unfortunate situation resulting from a former third-party accounting contractor mishandling Leven Supply's sales tax filings and payments. This is a statement that he offered. The contractor is no longer working with us, and since discovering the issue, we have been actively working with the city and the state to resolve it. Now, that is interesting because as the business owner, if you're looking at, say, a monthly profit and loss, you're probably noticing that you're not paying your taxes.
Yeah, especially for that long, for like almost a year. I would think.
Yeah.
I mean, there's three geniuses up here probably never owned a
I've
business.
never run a deli.
So I don't know if we're really in the right place to say, but that I would assume at some point you would have been alerted prior to. And someone had said that
Very
too,
odd.
and maybe in the subreddit it was like, you gotta get a lot of notices before you get the seized.
Yeah. Like it
There's
doesn't
got to
just
be some
happen.
communication with the
Yeah.
city before they stick that really giant embarrassing sign on your business.
There is a deeper story happening here.
Definitely.
And especially the way there's no one the city, the city, the mayor, they're like looking for wins right now. Denver, the vibes are kind of bad. Mayor's catching a lot of heat. He's reversing policies that he'd stuck to.
Mhm.
He is looking for success stories left and right. Something like Leven Deli spending a whole bunch of money to remodel a new 2-story, 400+ seat restaurant downtown of all places. Like this is the thing. This is the story that the mayor wants to celebrate and is probably calling up this guy, Anthony, like today, like, what can I do?
Yeah.
How can I help get this place back open? The people love it. You're growing. It's working. We need more at Leven Deli's, not less. Like,
I was just Googling to see when you mentioned the owner, if it was the guy that had come up to our table when we were there, and it wasn't. I'm assuming it was a manager. But when we were there, a manager was visiting every single table and talking to us, cleaning stuff up. He brought raw pizza dough to the two kids next to us to play with, which was great, except for the Montgomery and Charlie were like, our friend's kid were like, where's our pizza dough? And I was like, oh. But he was clearly like out. I don't know. I was just, this is why.
I've only ever heard great things about the people who work there, the culture of the place.
That doesn't mean you're good at business or at the accounting side.
Well, that's the other thing about the $20 Reuben is like in the Business Den article where they talked about this new flagship downtown, he was like, we lose money on these Reubens. This is like our main item. We lose money. If we wanted to make money on them, we'd sell them for $30, which is like, okay, so it's a lot. Your best thing is a loss leader. I don't know. I didn't know what to make of that, but it's like, is that good business? I don't know. I don't know what's happening here.
To me, I'm thinking about Costco's signature hot dog, but they just went and bought the factory. It still loses them money, but not at the level that I imagine a $23 Reuben does.
Well, see, but if that's the case, then your business model is terrible because it's like, isn't the whole point to be making money on this stuff?
Well, if you get people in on a Reuben, putting myself in his shoes, if you get people in and they're like, I got to get that $20 Reuben, that's a great value. Then they're going to add on the Snickerdoodle. They're going to add on the milkshake. They're going to add on all the soda. Where
I was going to say the markup,
bigger margins, and you can make money.
Right.
Or they have like a wine subscription club.
The 10% service fee, and then you flip around the iPad and you ask for the tip, so you don't have to pay your workers as much.
And I tip every time. I can't not.
Anyway.
I do too. I just like, a buck or two. Why not?
It's a psychological problem.
Do you think prices are going to go up after this? You think they're going to raise prices?
I mean,
Seems
when
possible
that's
to me.
They have their prices printed on their menus. So I'm just thinking about everything that comes involved with having to raise prices that way.
Be a pain in the butt. Yeah.
Pain in the
also,
butt.
if people are teetering on that being the reason they don't go, if it goes up $3 or something, you'd be like, all right, you know what, this is too much.
Yeah.
I don't know what the threshold is for people with their pastrami sandwiches.
That's the magic.
As fellow
sauce.
Arby's customers over
right.
here, we don't.
Excuse me. They
we
have
don't
like a
really
$7
know.
combo at Arby's right now. Problem solved.
Okay.
All right. Well, we want to hear what you think about Leven Deli too. I mean, we know this is a hot topic. Very surprising. Do you love Leven? Would you pay $30 for a Reuben? Also, yes, if you work for Leven
or did work for
call
Leven,
in. You don't have to leave us your name.
Yeah,
you don't have to tell us your neighborhood. We'll take an anonymous comment from the inside.
Because there's a piece missing and we don't know what it is.
Tell us what it is, please. 720-500-518 is the number. Let us know. Leven Deli. Or is there another splurge that's worth it? How about that? But we're going to go to another quick break and come back with the best way to end the week. Rocky Mountain highs and lows. All right, and we're back. Rocky Mountain Highs and Lows is the name of the segment, a.k.a. Wins and Fails. Each of us brought a recent local something that we think is a win and another we think is a fail, and we're going to talk about them.
Okay.
Lovely.
And do you want me to start, Bree?
Sure.
Okay. Actually, I want to know what because if you're not going to do the one, then I want to do it.
I don't think that you're going to do it. I'll do mine, but I don't think it's what you're doing.
Okay.
My fail this week is to the man that stole the sign off the Duke Sandwiches patio. It said hot and delicious. It was painted by my friends Jay and Kevin. And Look, stealing from a local business, small business sucks. Whack. Stealing a hand-painted sign by artists, also whack. It would be awesome if this person would just return it to Duke's. Maybe just leave it on the patio. You don't have to say anything. And then you can go find Oddworld Signs on Instagram and commission Jay and Kevin to make you a sign. They're not super pricey. They're a very affordable artists. They're people living in this city.
You think we could get one for the back wall here?
Absolutely. Oh, Jay
That'd
and
be
Kevin,
really cool.
I would love to commission them to do that. But it just really made me so mad because Duke's clearly all their signage is by Oddworld, and it's part of the vibe. And I was like, you're stealing a sign? Come on, steal a street sign or whatever, Just made me mad.
Agreed. That's a terrible fail. Duke's sandwiches, good sandwiches.
Great sandwiches.
I have an anecdote about a sign painter because I love sign painters. I think this is a great art form, and I love seeing a hand-painted sign outside of business.
I adore them.
When I was living in D.C., my wife Megan and I started noticing there was this one really distinctive style of sign painting going up around outside businesses where we were living, which was Foggy Bottom, DuPont Circle area. It was just after college. And the one feature that was the most memorable was the women in the pictures were always very busty.
I do love inappropriate titties.
Very busty.
Titties for no reason.
Outside a dentist, in a pizza place, always. There's a woman. It's the grandma who founded the pizza place, and she happens to have
a giant rack.
And it was and so we looked at the signature, and it was a guy named Nomad. And we ended up meeting this guy. I think Megan met this guy. And
she was unfortunately, I must ask you, sir, about them titties.
Well, it turns out he was a crazy character. I wish I remembered the busty women piece of it, but he had the best take I've ever heard about Chipotle, which is that he called their aesthetic construction site design.
Yes.
Yeah, I see that.
I am with Nomad.
Yeah.
And it was okay. So and he was like, they just design these restaurants to make white people feel safe eating Mexican food. And it was I don't quite understand the lines you're drawing there, but that is a very good take that I hadn't heard before. And shout out to Nomad. Hope you're still doing it.
I love a
keep
good
the ladies busty
sign painter that's got a trademark in it. I mean, that's a nice one.
Just a great.
I will just say too, you can see Jay's work in the bathrooms at the Sea Film Center. You can see Kevin's work all over. She did all those. Kevin has done the City O City signs. He's done so many signs, but. Again, lovely people. Go buy a sign from them.
We should start collecting these hand-painted signs. We should get pictures of them and share them when we see them. Because so often
and
they're
clearly not steal them.
Yes, just admire them and enjoy them.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Jay and Kevin actually collect vintage hand-painted signs. They have a really beautiful collection. Yeah. I mean, it's such a cool old school craft. And I also love when a business invests in that doesn't just make some computer-generated thing and sticks it up. I love when it's designed by a person. So,
well, this whole thing has me triggered because someone went into the mailroom and stole my DoxyPep.
What is that?
DoxyPep is a medication that you take after sexual intercourse that stops syphilis, gonorrhea, and chlamydia, and someone stole it from me.
Oh,
and this is making you think about
because I'm these damn Denver thieves. They're stealing signs. They're stealing DoxyPep.
You were providing harm reduction for someone else, and you just
that's the thing.
Know
My
it.
friend was like, "I'm sure there's a black market for that." I'm like, "Is there?"
Huh.
Please return Adrian's DoxyPep to his mailroom.
I can go live my life this weekend. Jesus.
Thank you.
Adrian, you want to give us your fail? I mean, that's a pretty good fail.
My fail was Scott Bottoms, who bottomed out.
Zing.
Yes. Being confronted by Kyle Clark about his allegations that there are pedophile rings at the state capitol. It's all very sad because the only thing that does is it creates harm for people that are actually in these situations, right? When you just choose to lie about it and say, I'll tell the truth if I'm elected governor. You're a loser.
I thought you were going to bring up
he's
running for governor.
Republican nomination. He thinks he's the front runner.
He had a press conference on the steps of the Capitol.
I saw the video. There was 3 people there.
One there, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
like I said, he bottomed out, but it's probably a win for Kyle Clark. So, poor Scott Bottoms.
I mean, he's choosing to run for office, so.
That's true.
Paul.
It's a weird claim, the pedophile ring. I don't want to get into it.
No, I don't either. I was like, I have
I'm
so
reading
many.
Virginia Giuffre's book about Epstein. It's harrowing.
No.
Yeah.
It's so harrowing.
My mother-in-law was like, you have to read it. And I was like, I don't know if I have the fortitude to read it yet.
But
It's a
that's
great
the point,
book, but
right? Like
I gotta
it
skip.
detracts from that reality when
Yeah.
someone chooses to not tell the truth and chooses to lie about it. Because if he was telling the truth, then I think it would be easy for him to tell the truth.
Well, here's what I'm missing with the Epstein stuff and with this Bottoms thing, Kyle being the exception, is investigate the claims.
Right.
And someone has got to investigate the claims. Like, we know there's people here locally who have been like connected to these Epstein files, and all we know is basically what's in the files, which is hearsay and implication, and there's lots of redactions, and it's all very confusing. And they're saying, the people who are implicated in this guy, I'm talking about Kimball Musk, the restaurateur from Boulder, who owns some restaurants here in Denver as well, and this guy named Chad McWhinney, who was one of the developers behind Union Station, the Dairy Block. He owns like a crap ton of land up in northern Colorado, all across the country. Like, they just say they didn't know Epstein, but there's pictures and there's emails, and it's like someone has to do the actual investigation,
Right.
and bring charges if there are charges to bring.
Right. Well,
When is that going to happen?
I mean, like, obviously, we can have the discussion about the Peter Thiel connection, which is, very topical today. But also,
We were talking about Reid Hoffman yesterday.
I was like totally shocked because Elon Musk has been such a denier of knowing Epstein and Maxwell, and then for
He
him to
was,
be
like,
all over those
begging to
emails,
be
like,
there.
that is the wildest
Yeah.
party. When's my next invite? You told us you didn't know them.
Yeah. Remember last year when he was breaking up with Trump and he was like, Trump's in the Epstein files.
Yeah.
Imagine, like, he must have known.
Yeah. There's
Oh,
no
I'm
way
sure.
he didn't know.
I'm
Anyway,
sure.
we got to keep going. We got to come back to Denver, come back to our roots. I got to fail.
Your fail.
This one, Bree, I totally thought you were going to pick this. RTD gets my fail this week. There was supposed to be a renaming ceremony to celebrate the official naming of Civic Center Station in honor of Reverend Wade Blank, who was a disability rights advocate, organizer, pioneer, very influential, important guy in
Truly.
Denver history, helped organize the Gang of 19, led to this major protest of RTD buses over the lack of accessibility on these buses in 1978.
Helped create the first independent living apartments for people with disabilities, which previous to this were just tossed into institutions. And he was working in them and was like, this isn't cool. These folks are totally autonomous and should have their own space and go to concerts and live their lives. But yes, so the controversy.
Yeah, just a great Denver hero. But
Love Wade
this
Blank.
week there was supposed to be a ceremony, like I said, to rename the station in his honor. But his daughter, Caitlin Blank, basically is refusing to participate in protest. She said, I state clearly, this is in Denverite, that I do not grant permission for my father's name to be used on any RTD property at this time. My family was never consulted before RTD moved forward with this proposal. She wrote in a letter, let's be clear, renaming Civic Center Station after Wade Blank right now is not an honor. It is a publicity stunt. And so specifically, she is protesting RTD's cuts to the Access on Demand program last year, which they did in response to a massive and growing budget problem that we've talked about quite a bit on the pod.
And the large disability activist group that's been pushing back on RTD and these cuts is ADAPT, which Wade helped co-found. I am so sad about this because when it was first announced, I was like, yes, like we're honoring this really important person.
He deserved it.
Oh my God. Like he just inspired me so much when I learned about his story as an abled person who was like, we all need to be in this fight.
Right.
But to find out that his family was never consulted and the fact that not only are they going forward with it, they just canceled the ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
But they're continuing to do it against his family's wishes. I know. I saw that this morning, Paul. It made me livid for his family. Ugh, his poor kids.
Yeah, tough situation.
I just never feel good about going against family's wishes, like ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
And like, again, it's rooted in the work that he did and continues today. Unfortunately, Wade passed away of a freak accident on a vacation when he was I think he was in his 40s or 50s. So his kids were really young. But his family has been continuing this work through ADAPT. And disability activists they work really hard. And so, shame on RTD here. Should have talked to the family.
Let's talk about wins.
Oh, yeah.
I want to go.
Okay. Go for it, Paul.
The big news for downtown. Denver Arts and Venues, in partnership with Denver Transportation and Infrastructure, Office of Transportation and Infrastructure, DOTI, and the Denver Downtown Development Authority announced this week a new art installation is going to be put in place downtown. I think that's great that they're funding that, and they're going to try to get people excited about going downtown. But specifically, the people they've commissioned is this group called Poetic Kinetics out of Colorado Springs, who I know because I went down to Green Mountain Falls a couple years ago and saw an installation they put over this lake for the Green Box Arts Festival, which is this great annual kind of like alternative arts thing. Really good event. But this art is that they put up, and they've done it all over the world now. It's just gorgeous. They put up these like ethereal like waves of colored material, and it blows in the wind. So it just looks like this surreal like I don't know how else to say, but it's a wave of color, and it's always different color. A moving sculpture,
Sculpture, yeah.
Like they've put one up that looks like a cloud that had different shades of white and silver. They've done rainbows, and so I'm just like so curious where they're going to do this downtown this summer.
Yeah, that's
what colors it's going to be, because I'm going to want it to go take great pictures of it and like capture this. And I think they're gorgeous, all of them that they've put up, and I can't wait to see it in Denver.
And they're temporary, right?
They're temporary, just for the summer.
Just based on the fabric. Okay, cool.
It is going to cost $627,000.
I mean, that's a drop in the bucket for downtown.
Yeah.
Might as well give it to an artist.
Yeah.
That's my win.
Yeah.
Adrian?
Sure. My win is that this week there was legislation introduced to legalize prostitution in the state of Colorado.
We did talk about this earlier this week.
I do think that it's a win because I think it's a chance for us to recognize that prostitution exists here, but this gives us an opportunity to like keep people safe, to regulate, and to like really minimize trafficking, which is a huge problem. So I think it's a win. Twitter disagrees with me, as it's been very maddening to see and some of the stuff that people say about it. But I think
what are they focused on? What's the main point, if there was one main point?
I feel that like, a lot of people don't understand the difference between prostitution and trafficking, because every example that was given, and there was this one, I hate to say his name's Dan Gerke. He was attacking Nick Heinrichsen, who's a senator from the Pueblo area, saying, "Oh, you want me to prostitute my two daughters?" Well, sir, what? He's like, that's called trafficking, and that's not what we're discussing here. So I feel that is like where the area of misunderstanding is taking place, is that people don't understand the difference, that this legislation would not change that trafficking would still be illegal. So that is, to me, is the big pushback, is that people aren't understanding the concept.
It is. I feel like we kind of talked about this earlier this week. Our conversation had me thinking about, we had a conversation with a historian several years ago about early sex work in Denver's founding.
Sure.
And the dangers at that time for women mostly.
Right.
But just like thinking about, we've come this far on a lot of issues, and this one we're still dealing with some of those same issues that they were dealing with in the 1800s.
Right. And then the difference being too that like access in terms of medication, like you can steal my doxypep and then, keep yourself safe. But they have like, that accessibility to like the modern medicines that keep people safe. And I think that's a big part of this.
Bree, give us your win.
Oh, yeah. I got a really nice compliment from a listener.
Oh, that's nice.
Who said that they like my voice because it has a nostalgic quality to it, and it reminds them of a secondary character from old cartoons. And I was like, me,
it's
like
very specific.
Like other podcasting bros, I have no formal training. So this voice is my voice all the time, whether I'm on the show or not. And that was just like, it's been carrying me through the week. Oh. So thank you for saying something nice about my voice.
It's like a kind of a good reminder that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Thank you. Yeah. And I was like, this is like resonating with me a lot. I was thinking about like Cyndi Lauper was my favorite artist growing up, and she has a very cartoony voice, and she even does a skit on one of her albums. She's so unusual that she does in a Betty Boop voice. And like, I was like, I learned that thing by heart, and maybe it's a little bit of what's in my thought.
Have you ever thought about doing voiceover work?
All the time.
Really?
I would love to. I love it.
Yeah, I have tons of voices that I do. I won't do them today.
Give us just one.
No.
Give us just
I
one.
do impressions of people I know. I don't do impressions of famous people.
So I'm a waiter coming up to your table. Sir, can I help you? What can I do for you?
I have a particular baby voice that I do that like everyone in my family
I see there's
is
a baby
like,
here at the table with you, sir.
I'm not doing my baby voice. I think that the key to me doing the baby voice is that there can't be a camera catching me doing the baby voice.
Yeah, it has to be in the moment.
Yeah,
and,
it's like, I don't mind a microphone catching it, but
this
the
is a
fact
tease.
of
I do not like this tease of a baby voice. I want to hear the baby voice.
One day.
Okay.
One day he'll pick
next
it up.
time. Next time we'll grill you. Okay. Well, that's the show. Thanks all for listening. We'll be back next week with more. Adrian, Bree, thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
That's all for the week here on CityCast Denver. Our producers this week were Olivia Jewel Love, Lizzie Goldsmith, and me, Paul Caroli. We recorded the Dude IDK Studios in 5 Points with support from Jacob Rupp and Nick Holmby. Peyton Garcia and Ilana Nevins write our newsletter. Abby Madigan runs our social media. Bree Davies is our host. Our music is by Los Mocochetes with additional mixing by Tyler Lindgren. If you haven't already, subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Follow us on Instagram or TikTok at CityCast Denver, and tell Scott Bottoms about us next time you see him. Thanks to our new neighbors who've joined our membership program. You too can support the show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Denver neighbor today at membership.citycast.fm. Sign up for that daily newsletter and learn more about us at denver.citycast.fm. See you next week. Hopefully I'll be less congested.
Boom.
That was hard to get through.
Good job.
Bye, everyone.
Good job.
Isn't pastrami roast beef? I don't know meat very well.
Maybe I'm thinking of corned beef.
Corned beef?
They're just well, I feel like pastrami is way saltier than roast beef.
Is pastrami cow, though? Is that what it's made out of?
I am not like
Can we get a Google on
Olivia,
that type
do you
of
know
meat
what if
kind of guy.
pastrami is
I
cow?
should know. I just eat it and I don't care what it is.
Really?
So I'm an Arby's customer.
So Arby's is my depression meal. If you see me eating Arby's, I'm sad about something.
If you feel that, just call me because I will
Okay.
go with you.
Okay.
Are you a potato cakes person?
So
since
I
they brought 'em
am.
back?
I like
Or
a
you
roast
curly
beef
fries?
sandwich with like a cup of cheddar on the side, and I love to like dip it into the cheddar and cry. But I love Arby's.
I'm
Favorite.
gonna go eat that for lunch later.
Go enjoy. Go enjoy.
God, I love Arby's too.
I love it.
We're keeping it open.
We are. That's what I always think. I'm like, wow, it's me and no one else in this drive-through. You got to wait 45 minutes at In-N-Out, but if you want food right now, go to Arby's.
Arby's. Mm.
It's beef.
Confirmed. It's beef.
Pastrami is beef. Okay.
Thank you, Olivia.